Hey everybody, what's up? It's Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, wouldn't negotiate with lies. I know you see what this is, man. What happened is I had some new growing on my sideburns. And I was like, you know what, man, I'ma braid them joints. I'ma braid them joints and have me some braids growing out the sideburn. But that ain't about that. But this video is about something I think a lot of men aren't talking about. I mean, a massive majority of men aren't talking about this. And I think it's really a major issue that's going to happen is that what's going to happen to the men with daughters? What's going to happen to the men with daughters, man? There's a big major issue, man. And that's the men with daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do? Now, as we know, the red pill is gone mainstream. Think Kevin Samuels, RIP to Kevin Samuels, but the red pill is gone mainstream. And of course, you had Tate, spreading whatever. It's gone mainstream, which means a lot of men are not taking that illusion of a relationship to deny what's going on legally between men and women. Now, the narrative that's missing is, how will fathers deal with this? How will fathers deal with the fact that marriage has dropped? Like, marriage is now, I think the amount of people getting married is dropped by over 40%. It's an all-time low. So you got to think of the men with daughters. You got to think of just how how horrifying it is to be a father now with a daughter. To think about, man, if a lot of men aren't marrying, a lot of men aren't getting married, then who's gonna marry and wife up your daughter? Who's gonna marry your daughter, man? And then with the fact that the deal that's at risk, what could happen with alimony, divorce, and so on as a father. So you are actually aware that, yeah, man, it makes sense that a man might not marry your daughter. You know what I'm saying? So for a lot of men now, and I remember, I don't know if it was George Foreman, I can't remember who, but there was a celebrity trying to pay men to marry his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's going to become the norm, is that a lot of men now, especially with a daughter and so on, man, how you going to find somebody to marry your daughter? I think what's going to happen, and you might be able to look at this video maybe a month from now, a year, whatever, but I think what's going to happen now is men that are trying to get married will have to make a negotiation with the father of the daughter, the daughter's father. But you also got to remember that there's a high level of, single motherhood. So there's a high level of that going on in the nation. So there's a lot of women without a father to begin with. The reason I bring this up is that I think a lot of men will now, to basically set themselves up to make sure that if this relationship goes sour, that they basically have a lifeline. I think what's going to happen is men are going to, when they try to marry a woman, I think men, if she has a father, men will basically bring the father and say, well, if she puts me on child support, if she puts me on alimony for no reason, you are going to have to pay for some of that. You're going to have to pay for it, or you're going to have to put me on your will. I think what's happening now is a lot of men, before it used to be, you got to get her father's approval. to get her hand in marriage. But I think what's going to happen now with men knowing what's going on with the marital laws, the family court, the fact that men know that, yeah, man, 99.9% of the time, there's a chance you won't get custody of your children or even be allowed in their life if you're getting taken to the family court. And here's the thing. Some men have been taken to the family court, not even by the woman they're with. They just decided to put him on child support and bang. And she couldn't reverse it, So I think a lot of men now will be negotiating a deal with the father of that woman by saying, hey, man, if I'm not at fault, and I think a lot of men will probably have the father sign a contract with him, the daughter, and the father all in one room where if I'm not at fault and I'm put on child support, your father's going to have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Your father's going to have to pay for this child support. Your father's going to have to pay for this alimony. Because I think what's going to happen with the fathers with daughters out there, that's going to be so desperate to just get their daughter married, because they don't want her to be alone when they leave this world and they can no longer be in her life. I think a lot of fathers, knowing what they know now with this red pill content, I think a lot of fathers are now going to have to negotiate a deal with a man that's going to potentially marry their daughter. You know what I'm saying? It's now going to be fathers hunting and looking for a man to marry their daughter. You know what I'm saying? And if that man wants to basically have a lifeline, that man's going to start negotiating a deal with the father. He's going to start negotiating a deal with her father to say, well, if she puts me on child support and I didn't do nothing wrong, I didn't have any domestic abuse, I didn't hurt her, I didn't mistreat her, I didn't do nothing, then you as the father will have to pay for it. You as her father will have to pay for my child support and you'll have to pay for my alimony. If she files for divorce and I'm not at fault, as in I didn't hurt her, I didn't do anything at all, beyond she just don't want to be married with me anymore, you as her father will have to pay. So I think what's going to happen is men will start negotiating deals with the father of said woman, and the father will be negotiating with the man, because with what's happening with all the knowledge that's gone on about the family court and the marriage court and divorce court and all that, what's gonna happen is that a lot of men will basically, now they know it, will basically start negotiating. You're gonna have to not just convince a man. It doesn't matter. A father giving that man, his blessings to marry his daughter isn't enough security. It isn't enough security for that man. So what's going to happen is men will start working out a legal contract that will bind them to the daughter and the father and her mother. Men will basically put them into that contract. So if anything goes wrong where that man is going to get screwed, her mother and her father will have to be involved when it comes to the financial responsibility. So if their daughter just puts this man on child support, divorces this man, puts him on alimony, her parents will have to play a role in paying for the finances. Because right now, man, it's a dark day to be a father of a daughter when you see men in your country are flying away to other countries and they're not marrying the women here. So, as a father, it's going to be a real dark day for fathers with daughters, man. They're going to have to figure out, how do you get your daughter with